Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, a former deputy is behind bars after a shooting that killed his girlfriend Thursday night. Why he says this shooting was an accident.
Plus, an increase in school shooting threats across several north central Florida counties. The conversation law enforcement officers are encouraging parents to have.
And more information is coming out about a fire that burned down multiple Cedar Key businesses. We spoke with a witness who helped firefighters battle the blaze.
First at 5, from the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
A former Marion County deputy is behind bars in Ocala, accused of accidentally shooting his girlfriend. This is First at 5. I'm Nicole Beltran.
And I'm Alexis Vivanco. WFT's Kate Sowers is live at the Marion County Jail, where the deputy has been held since last night.
Deputy Leslie Ballou claims last night's shooting was an accident. He says he was cleaning a gun with his girlfriend when it went off, shooting her in the head. He is now in Marion County Jail with no bond. According to the police report, Deputy Ballou and his girlfriend Paulina Wright had just come home from dinner when they began cleaning the guns. The report goes on to say Ballou was teaching Wright how to clean the guns when they decided to play around with them. Ballou said he and Wright were used to practicing with the firearm, but during the cleaning he accidentally discharged a bullet, shooting Wright in her forehead. A local gun shop owner tells me it's critically important for even the most experienced gun owners to be careful when working with firearms.
Keep your finger off the trigger. I tell people, make a gun. To pick up a gun, that's going to automatically keep your finger off the trigger. Okay? It is not a finger rest. It's not going to go off unless you physically pull it.
Sheriff Billy Wood says tragic accidents like this are felt throughout the law enforcement community and that OPD has the full support of the Sheriff's Department. According to MSCO, Ballou has served as a deputy for 8 years but was immediately fired following the shooting. Officials say the gun was used in the deadly shooting was not a sheriff's office firearm. Live in Marion County, Kade Sowers, WUFT News.
Thank you, Kade. A Marion County man is waiting to be sentenced after being convicted of second-degree murder. 39-year-old Brandon Lee Brown is guilty of shooting Anthony Brady and another victim in Summerfield in 2018. Brady died a week after being shot. Brown was also convicted of attempted murder and aggravated assault.
Governor Ron DeSantis is awarding $18 million in funding to support Florida's supply chain for concrete and asphalt production. The grant will create concrete material storage and improve rail access to existing storage facilities. This material will support major projects under the Moving Florida Forward initiative. $3.7 million are going towards a new storage facility in Lake City. Another $1.5 million will fund a new storage facility in Tallahassee. The rest of the grant will be used in Tampa, Jacksonville, and Plant City. These awards are the first of $100 million to be invested over the next 5 years.
And we're taking a live look over Paynes Prairie on our DOT cams. It was another hot and sunny day over north central Florida. But something could be brewing in the Gulf. Let's get over to UF forecaster Ben Gankarst-Davies with what we can expect this weekend. Ben?
That's right, we do have a possible development in the Gulf coming later in the week. Luckily for this weekend, though, we are going to continue to see those clear and partly cloudy skies that you saw over Paynes Prairie just a moment ago. Current temperatures are in those upper 80s, making here on campus seem nice and sunny ahead of sunset. Current temperatures across the board are in those upper 80s. Earlier, we were hitting 90-degree marks down in Ocala, but that has dissipated just a little bit, though those temperatures are going to feel just a little bit hotter due to this large area of water vapor that is making our area moist and hot. Those muggy temperatures are going to stick around this weekend, but as we get into our evening, we go into our hour by hour, you can see temperatures taking a dip down from those mid-50s to short of 80 degrees, continuing that decline over the next couple of hours. Those 80-degree marks that we've been experiencing for the rest of the day are going to stick around for this weekend, keeping it warm for the rest of our time. I'll take a look at our tropical outlook after the break.
Neighbors in Marion County are urged to be careful when heading to Silver Glen Springs over the next few days. The Department of Health has issued an alert due to the blue-green algae toxins at the springs. The toxins can give people rashes, stomach cramps, nausea, and cause vomiting. You're asked to stay away from water with visible algae blooms. The Department of Environmental Protection will continue to test the waters to determine when it is safe again.
And we're learning more about the fire in Cedar Key that burnt down multiple businesses on Dock Street. We first told you about the fire on Thursday. The fire started just after 5 a.m. It damaged Dunkin's on the Gulf, Rusty's Hook Bait Shop, and Steamer's Restaurant. Fire rescue crews from Levy and Dixie counties were on the scene to put out the fire. A witness who was driving in on his boat also helped put out the fire.
And as I was coming back in, one of the firemen that I know, Jamie McCain, waved me over, and we were able to get some hoses out onto my clam boat, and we were able to fight the fire from my clam boat from the other side, while the firemen on this side fought it from this side.
A cleanup event will take place on Saturday at the city park.
The Alachua County Sheriff's Office noticed an increase in threats made to local schools.
A trend that authorities and parents are seeing around Florida. WUFT's Juan Chaoui is live in front of the Alachua County Sheriff's Office with the community's reaction.
In just the last few days, the Alachua County Sheriff's Office has received an overwhelming number of tips regarding possible school violence. These threats are just the latest in a series seemingly started by the Appalachia High School shooting in Georgia earlier this month. Every public school in Florida is assigned a safety officer by state statutes.
Our job is there as a threat deterrent and to protect those schools.
Despite these deterrents, Alachua County Sheriff's Office Public Information Officer Art Fogy says schools are receiving more threats than usual. He says the Sheriff's Office has received 25 tips in the last 5 days.
That is a large number of tips that we received in that 5-day period. We are used to receiving them, but not at that level.
Last week, ACSOs arrested an 11-year-old for threatening his school. Jarrell Whitehead helped start Strong-Minded Mentors, a service project that aims to reduce violence among Gainesville's youth.
It's not just for them, but for the whole community as a whole.
Still, Jarrell worries about his mentee's safety and the security of his own son whenever he leaves for school.
I want to tell them that I love them. I want to tell them good morning. I want to give them good words, encouraging words of going off and going to school, because it's sad to say, but in today's world, that might be my last time seeing my child.
That's why authorities take each threat seriously. Mayor Harvey Ward agrees with Jarrell's methods of deterring kids from violence. Giving them outlets like mentorship programs can do just that. Live from the Alachua County Sheriff's Office, Juan Chaoui, WUFT News.
Alachua County voters have the opportunity to speak directly to a candidate at the forum this weekend. The General Election Candidate Forum will be held at Santa Fe College on Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Candidates for Alachua County Sheriffs, State Attorney, Supervisor of Elections, State Representatives, and County Commission will be attending. Speakers will share their platforms and answer questions about local issues. If you can't make it to the forum, don't worry. The event will be streamed on the Bob Graham Center YouTube.
Florida Highway Patrol troopers are urging drivers to register their emergency contact information with the Florida Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. In 2005, it took more than 6 hours to notify a Florida mother that her daughter had died in a crash because she didn't have a registered emergency contact. Since then, troopers have been raising awareness on the importance of having this information up to date. As of August, over 20.5 million drivers have registered a contact. It's free to register. Just head to flhsmv.gov.
A woman in Levy County wins millions in the Florida lottery. English resident Diana Baker claimed her $2 million top prize after winning a scratch-off ticket. She's taking home her winnings as a lump sum of $1.3 million. Baker bought her winning ticket from the Quick Stop on Highway 40 in Inglis. The shop got $4,000 for the ticket sale.
A UF professor's journey to space is only taking off. When First at 5 returns, an exclusive interview with the professor after his return to Earth.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
A few weeks ago, a University of Florida professor became the first NASA-funded academic researcher to fly to space.
It's very exciting news, and our Nicole Borman had a chance to sit down with the professor after he landed.
Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket launched with a familiar face on board. I looked into how this University of Florida professor is taking flight into the history books.
With the technological advances in the past few years, there's been a breakthrough in who can go to space. Dr. Robert Furl, A professor at the University of Florida became the first NASA-funded academic researcher to fly to space with his experiment.
This is a whole new gig where scientists can propose to do things like this and get to go to space.
Over the past 3 years, Furl has been simulating the flight experience with Blue Origin at UF. But this isn't just one small step for scientists, it's also one giant leap for plants. Furl's work, alongside co-principal investigator Dr. Annalisa Paul, hopes to identify how plants' genetic expression changes in microgravitational environments.
We send plants to space and other kind of exploration environments to ask how do plants respond at the molecular level to things that are outside their evolutionary experience, and so what we call novel environments.
Even though Furl's crewmates jumped to enjoy the zero gravity,
we're in space, everyone!
Furl had only one experience he knew would truly make him an astronaut.
I wanted to spend time looking out the window, and that's where I spent my personal time. Looking out the window at the vast expanses of space and then that thin blue line of our atmosphere way down there on the Earth.
Although the New Shepard rocket landed, the impact of his journey has just taken off.
Imagine being an oceanographer that's never been on a boat. Imagine being a forester that's never gone out to touch a tree. Imagine being a space scientist that's never been to space. I want that to change. And so when you ask me what's it feel like to be the first, it feels like I have a duty to make sure that I'm not the last.
The results of the experiment will take a few months, but in the meantime, Furl hopes to inspire future scientists to remain curious and go to the ends of the earth for what they love. In the studio, Nicole Borman, WUFT News.
Although the rain here has settled down, the Gulf is heating up. How a possible cyclone development could impact your next week. After the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
On our campus cam, we've got blue skies with some clouds in the air, conditions you can look forward to for the rest of the weekend. Current temperatures are in those upper 80s here on campus, and we're seeing fairly normal temperatures for the rest of our area as well. Just about reaching that 90-degree mark here in Gainesville, a little bit cooler down by the coast. Now, although these temperatures are quite high, our lows are dipping into the 70s, which is quite nice for those late evening hours. These temperatures might be feeling a little bit warmer than what I was just showing you though because of this large area of moisture of water vapor over the Gulf and over Florida. So our temperatures are just about 5 degrees warmer than they might be seeming. We've got a couple spotty rain bits coming in from the Atlantic over this weekend, but a majority of our area is going to continue to stay dry throughout the weekend. What is motivating these storms is this area of low pressure down in South Florida with rain off the coast. It's the counterclockwise circulation of that low is bringing that rain across Florida, but a lot of our area is going to continue to stay dry. We've got 2 areas out in the Atlantic that could possibly develop, but they are very low likelihood. But here in the Gulf, this region highlighted in orange has about a 40 to 50% chance of development over the next 7 days as this area of storms moves into the Gulf. One projection shows this moving into the Gulf, this moisture continuing into that hot, moist air we were looking at earlier, getting that cyclonic formation and even making landfall as we get into the late next week, Friday or Saturday. But forecasts of this extent are not entirely accurate, so continue to watch out for later updates. Our weekend here for Saturday and Sunday, we have temperatures following that daily climb up to just short of 90 degrees and then continuing to cool down. This is nice because of these clouds that we have, which will keep it a little more temperate than we might otherwise be seeing without the clouds and that harsh sun. But again, our muggy meter is showing it is going to be muggy or even sweltering on Sunday, hitting that 72-degree mark, and before coming back down for the start of next week, making it slightly more temperate and slightly more comfortable. Our current temperatures are in those upper 80s, and it's going to continue that trend for a lot of the week with our temperatures hitting 90 degrees, even getting slightly above 90 degrees on Monday before they settle a little bit into the next weekend as we have that rain coming in. Our lows are around 70 degrees with that rain chances coming in at the end of the week.
The Florida Gators football team is gearing up for an SEC showdown as they travel to Starkville to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs in their first away game. With the 2 teams struggling, it could be an exciting matchup as both squads will fight to get the upper hand. We'll preview tomorrow's matchup when we come back after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
I'm Emilio Boudreaux here to give you today's update on the world of sports. It's high school football season, and these teams are lacing up their cleats to hit the gridiron tonight. Jack Meyer previews tonight's matchup between Eastside High School and undefeated Williston.
The Friday night lights are back on and brighter than ever before at Eastside High School tonight as the Rams prepare to take on the Williston Red Devils in a primetime high school football matchup. The Rams are currently 2-2 at this point in the season, but they're hoping that tonight's matchup with the Red Devils could prove to be a momentum shifter going forward. Just 2 weeks ago, the Rams were hit with a brutal 35-7 loss to the Beholds Bobcats in what many touted as one of the most anticipated matchups of the 2024 high school season. But the Eastside Rams got right back on track the following weekend with a 16-10 win over Trinity Catholic. Now the Rams have a chance to prove themselves once again on their home turf against what Coach Harold Hoskins called a very talented Williston squad.
They come out from watching the film, they give you everything they have. They have a great offense, they love to run the ball, they have a great defense, so we're up for a challenge. We just got to come and be ready to play.
The Red Devils also have a lot riding on tonight's action as head coach Robbie Pruitt is just one win away from his 400th career win as a high school coach. The Red Devils and the Rams will take to the field tonight at 7:30 for what should be an unforgettable matchup. Reporting from Eastside High School, Jack Meyer, WUFT Sports.
And the action doesn't stop there. Jordyn Banks is live at Oak Hall Stadium to preview their matchup against an out-of-town opponent.
Friday night lights are back, and on deck tonight is the Mount Dora Christian Academy Bulldogs against the Oak Hall Eagles. The Eagles have fallen short against Masters Academy with a 57-20 loss. Tonight they are looking to get their groove back. Oak Hall's running back, Briggs Copeland, is one of the top performers for the Eagles with 200 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. The Eagles have a 2-2 record while the undefeated Bulldogs have a 5-0 record. Game time is at 7 p.m. tonight. Live from Oak Hall Stadium, I'm Jordyn Banks with WFT Sports.
The Gators football team is on the road to face off against SEC opponent Mississippi State in their first away game of the season. Florida is heading into this matchup desperate for a win as they currently stand at a record of 1-2. This week is a perfect time for the Gators to bounce back as the Bulldogs have struggled so far this season with losses to Arizona State and Toledo in the past 2 weeks. Florida coach Billy Napier is looking to put last week's woes behind them and focus on the task ahead.
Now to start today, obviously we'll put the game to bed, and then when we walk out of that team meeting room and go to practice today, I think it's a singular focused on the next challenge, and that's Mississippi State.
Kickoff is at noon on ESPN. Now moving things from the gridiron into the O-Dome. The 16th ranked Gators volleyball team is fresh off a win against their ranked rival FSU. They will now host a tournament this weekend to end non-conference play. This weekend, the Gators are hosting the North Texas Mean Green and the University of Buffalo Bulls for a weekend spin and to prepare for SEC play. The team is welcoming back Kennedy Martin, who alongside her fellow teammate Isabel Martin has been named onto the AVCA 2024 Division I Player of the Year award watch list. Both players have been impact players on this squad. Last night, the Florida soccer team kicked off on the pitch to start conference play against the number 20 Kentucky Wildcats, going to last night's matchup with a record of 3-1-4. There will be another tie as neither side will be able to put a goal in the back of the net, with the final score resulting in a 0-0 tie. On Sunday, the Gators hope to add to their win column with their game against number 6 Auburn. Now wrapping up sports, history was made Thursday with Shohei Ohtani becoming the first member of the 50-50 club. He's the first player in MLB history to hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bases.
Well, thank you for that, Emilio. And listen, that's no easy accomplishment. Shohei Ohtani, always the spectacle to watch on the field, and only unfortunately though, it sucks that it had to happen against our Miami Marlins. We're both Miami fans, and but it is what it is. But listen, a record's a record.
A record is a record, and as much as I love sports records, I also love weather records. Ben, what can you tell us?
Well, I don't think we're going to be hitting any weather records for this weekend. Our temperatures are quite normal for September here in Florida, up in those upper 80s and even 90s for the rest of the week before taking a dip for next weekend.
Thanks for joining us for today. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and all our social media platforms. Have a great night.